Now back to why 2020 sucks.
It still sucks, but this time see it in 3D.
Experience all the drama, but in 3D.
In a whole nother dimension.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I am Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, happy hump day. How are you tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. Not too bad. It's the middle of the week. We're almost there, guys. We almost made it.
Made it over that hump, you know?
Yep.
It's still 2020, you know. Things are still crazy and just getting crazier by the moment, but
yeah,
we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here bringing you the epicness that is On a Couch Talking Sports from a car. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, so for tonight's episode, we want to do something that we did in a past episode, which is kind of take it back to basics, you know? We really sometimes just like to sort of take a break from really thinking of our episode ideas and just kind of take you back to the basic segments that make this show what it is. Of course, I'm talking about Robbie's favorite football recap, or Robbie's favorite fantasy football recap, I should say, and the Souz reviews. It's actually a perfect night to sort of make those two the sort of centerpiece for tonight's show for a number of reasons, but the main reason for me why it's a perfect night to do it is because this week actually marked the end of my fantasy football season. So it's kind of fitting that we do this on what was the last week of my fantasy football season. So I'll begin with the Robbie's favorite fantasy football recap. And I'll start out with the favorites. So BC, speaking of finishing out seasons, BC finished out their regular season this past Saturday. Unfortunately, they fell to Virginia in their final regular season game, so that was too bad to see. But they did finish 6-6, which all things considered is not bad. They had some injury issues, and we're under a new coach, but I think that the future is very bright in Chestnut Hill, which, by the way, we do have to point this out, Kyle, okay, is that literally where we are filming right now is literally across the street from the Boston College campus. Hold on a second. I'm gonna do a little mobile here. I don't know if they can see that, but yeah, it's the hi Kyle's face. That is the BC campus, and literally just behind those buildings actually is the BC football stadium. So
very nice.
We are literally talking about BC football right near BC football, and now I'm going to attempt to put this back. Kyle's gonna adjust our little thing here. There we go. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I keep the rule of thirds,
I went for it and then couldn't get it back. But what was I gonna say? So yeah, BC unfortunately lost, but they did finish 6-6 and do make it to a bowl game, which will be announced coming up in the coming weeks. And so I just wanted to say that this year was really exciting, even though there were no fans, even though I didn't get a chance to go to any BC games. It was still really exciting because, the new coach really brought a new, sort of culture and really positive attitude to the football program. And like I said, just gave me and other BC fans a real optimistic outlook at the future for BC football. So, and also I want to give them a special round of applause because they went through the entire season without a single positive COVID test. So that was pretty good. Yeah, round of applause, BC. Whatever you're doing, you should bottle and sell it. You make a bundle. Yeah.
Teach the NFL a few tricks, Yeah,
teach all sports a few tricks. Speaking of the NFL, the New England Patriots also played this past weekend. They actually won another game. They won in very convincing fashion. They beat the LA Chargers 45-0.
Ooh, very nice.
Like I said, it was just a dominating performance in all aspects of the game. Big shout out to Gunnar Olszewski, who had 2 punt return touchdowns and a reception touchdown during the game. So, very well done, Gunnar. Very impressive performance. So the Pats now are back to 500 for the first time since week 4, as they now currently sit at 6-6. And we'll actually be playing tomorrow night. We're filming this on a Wednesday. They're playing tomorrow night, Thursday night, still in LA, taking on the Rams. And by the way, what is a rematch of Super Bowl 53? Yeah, Super Bowl 53. So very exciting, and can't wait for can't wait to see how they do tomorrow night. Hopefully they can get back above 500 for the first time since they were 2-1 back in week 3. So, and then for the fantasy, like I said, it was my last. Words. It was my last fantasy football contest last week. Unfortunately, I did not make it to the playoffs because, in part, I lost my my season finale, 152.42 to 121.54. Did get a good performance by Deshaun Watson, 39 points. Dalvin Cook, 26 points. Robinson had 12. Higbee, the tight end for the Rams, had 12 points. But like I said, at the end of the day, just came up a little bit short as I finished at, what was my record? 4-9. Good for 10th place in my league. Unfortunately, only the top 8 teams make the playoffs, so it'll be on to 2021 for me in terms of fantasy football, but I still had fun.
Dude.
I still had fun. Hey, you know what? Sometimes it's just not meant to be. You know, it's all good. It's all good, baby. But yeah, I wanted to wish all the teams that are going to be in the playoffs starting this coming week for my one league the best of luck, and may the best team win. So. That is it for tonight's edition and segment of the Robbie's Favorite Fantasy Football Recap. And I now turn the mic over, not literally because we don't have a mic, but figuratively turn the mic over to Kyle for another edition of the Souz Reviews. Kyle, I know this is about to get intense, but I'm here for you, buddy, so go for it.
So, I'm going to start on a positive review. I wanted to review something that it was funny because going in the segment, I had a couple ideas of what I wanted to do, but I was thinking I'd start off the first segment by a food review. I wanted to talk about this restaurant that I went to, that I ordered from. It was a nice takeout place called Flatbreads. And since I think that's the perfect segue since we're talking about BC.
Oh yes.
And it's one of the, apparently, I didn't realize this, but I mean, it makes sense because it's literally right across the campus. It's
Kyle literally had this place for the first time, half an hour ago?
Yes, exactly. So I figured, this looks pretty good.
This is a very new, fresh review here.
Super fresh. We're talking just finished eating dinner, fresh. So I'm going to start for that, and then I'm going to get in a little bit of mourning. I'll explain that a little later. You're going to probably wonder, what's Kyle mourning? But yeah, it's going to be...
He's mourning the death of society. No, wait, that's everybody else.
Yeah, right.
That's everybody. Anyway, continue.
But then after that, I'm gonna try to swing back once again for a video game review that I really want to talk about. So I'm gonna start just by kind of a brief review, but I really like this place for Flatbreads. They specialize in pretty much putting everything into a wrap. That's essentially what they do. You do have options to get salads there. And what's cool is that you can also get one of those punch cards. You know, those punch cards you get I think they give them out at Upper Crust and stuff like that. And every time you visit, you actually they every time you order a wrap, they punch it once, and then when you get up to 10, you get a free wrap, actually, which is really nice. But apparently I found out from the guy, who was super nice, by the way, the guy who was at the front counter, one of the nicest people you ever meet. Definitely, he's very friendly. He will talk to you, and it's just that place is just so friendly. It's unbelievable. It's just amazing that what they do is that they, like I said, they literally put everything into a wrap. So they have meatball subs, they have Reubens, they have turkey, different variations of turkey and steak wraps. It's great. It's all phenomenal. They have, and they always wrap it in like a tortilla, and I'm at a loss of words. I loved it. I loved every bite of it. They're good sized wraps too. They're about this big, so you're gonna get your you're gonna be full by the end of the first wrap. So, and you know, you can get it's a very small place. It's a very simple place. There's really no seating there, but it's more of a takeout place. It's a place you go, like, especially I'm sure if you're a BC student, you go there, get a quick dinner,
bring it back to your dorm, you know, all that good stuff. Yeah,
exactly. It's just great. It's the perfect takeout place for me. I loved it. I think next week I'm gonna try the meatball sandwich. They also have a nice turkey bacon avocado sandwich, like wrap, and it was so good.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, it was a real big surprise. I had seen it before. I really wanted to try it. So if you find yourself in the BC area and maybe you don't feel like going to Eagles Deli or some of those other really well-known spots too, then go there. Like, you're not going to be disappointed. If you like wraps.
And by the way, we have to point out that right next door to Flatbreads is probably one of the best ice cream places in all of eternity.
Yeah.
I'm, of course, talking about White Mountain Creamery, whose now one location is, like I said, right next door to Flatbreads. That was a part of tonight's meal that I partook in, was White Mountain ice cream, which is always good. And the people in there are super friendly, and it's awesome. So definitely, if you're going to eat in this area, definitely hit up White Mountain afterwards for a scoop.
So good. Which also I kind of wanted to segue into this. So yeah, go to Flatbreads, go to White Mountain, both great places. But I did want to talk about, and more in a little bit, about this one coffee place that I really liked. It's in Medford. It's in the same town I live in.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, I got news today that it's closing. So yeah, it's called Mystic Coffee. I don't know if you guys ever been to Mystic Coffee Roasters. They are, I think, some of the best coffee in the whole area. The people that work there are also very friendly. It's a very local spot. They got some really good sandwiches there, but they really specialize in coffee. That's their thing. You can get actually bags of coffee there, and the good news, at least in all of this, is that they are still going to distribute coffee. They're still going to sell it, so you can still buy coffee by the pound and stuff like that. But unfortunately, you know, if you're in the Medford, Somerville, Malden even area, Melrose, and you just want to go there for a quick cup of coffee, that's unfortunately not going to happen anymore. It's really sad, because, you know, more and more businesses like these are going out, and, you know, because of COVID and everything going on, and it's sad to see them go. It really is. And I feel like it's probably going to happen with some more businesses as the year goes on. But, you know, it's the way it is nowadays, so it's something I'm just going to have to learn to accept, I guess, after a while.
You'll be strong. It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
I'll be okay. Yeah, I'll be okay. Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to get so somber there. But I wanted.
We just got deep.
Yeah, right. So I want to swing back to a review of. I want to continue with my series of the Prince of Persia, the Sands of Time series. So I want to go. Last week last week, whatever last episode was.
Last week? No, you're right.
It was last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
So I started with the first game called The Sands of Time, appropriately. And I was talking about how great of a game that was. It was one of the best platformers you could ever find. They refined everything about the Prince of Persia series. the series originally started off, for those of you who don't know, as a 2D side-scroller, and it was a platforming series, and you had to like press these switches and make these like long jumps and fight random people and like this like in these like dungeon and outside areas. It was a fun game. But then Sands of Time came and it just completely revolutionized everything. You could turn back time if you like missed a jump, and the combat was even enhanced. Like you could flip over people or the enemies, which are like these sand demon things that you could fight, and it was really cool. It was a very, very fun game, and they told it in a very nice story-like kind of atmosphere. Well, apparently someone at that company at Ubisoft was like, you know what? The first Prince of Persia game was way too lighthearted. We're gonna make this game gritty. Like they made this game a hard M. Now that's like a rated R in video game terms. That's like M for mature. That's like 17 and up. This game is bloody. It's very violent. Like the prince himself, he's a violent guy. He's a crazy dude. He's not like the fun kind of storybook, very like what do you call it? Like joyful prince that he was in the first game. No. He doesn't do the narration anymore. No, he's too cool for that. He's too gritty. They had to make it all goth and like every time he fights the guys. Now he just grunts. He goes and he even swears. He even drops. He even calls one of the characters a bitch. I'm like, whoa. It was.
Hey now.
Yeah, it was a lot, you know. And the game even starts off in like. It's just so like unnecessarily gritty to the point where it's kind of silly, where he's like on this like broken ship that's like sailing through the seas, and he gets raided by this tough girl, and she eventually like crashes the entire ship, and he lands on this island called the Island of Time. And the reason he got there was because he messed with time so much in the first game. This beast called a Dahaka is chasing him. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to go to this Island of Time so he can prevent himself from getting killed by this giant beast. Problem is, beast follows him there. So when you get to the island, it's like you have to run away from this beast. He's grunting the whole time. I hate life. So they just made it like super gritty, and it just kind of gets so silly when it does that. However, I will say this: it's still a very good game, and I think it's very underrated. And once you get into the gameplay part of it, it's very fun because when you get to the island, it's actually an open world. In the first game, it was an area by area. You pretty much went through an area, and then you went to the next area, all until you get to the next game. There's no backtracking in that game. In this new game, it's called Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. By the way, I just completely forgot to throw the title there. You get to explore the Island of Time, and it's really cool. It's like a free roaming game. It's actually very similar. It's kind of like an earlier version of like the Batman Arkham series. You can explore, and you can fight enemies along the way, and you still have all the cool moves. You can still turn back time and everything, but it's in an open area. And I thought it was a really ambitious idea. It was very cool. The game really worked, and they even added some new segments where you had to run away from the beast, and you had to like avoid all these traps. And yes, just like the first game, it's very hard. It's super, super hard. Like, you're gonna fall a lot. You're gonna die a lot. But it's a very fun game. I highly recommend playing it. Yes, it's very gritty. Don't bring your kids anywhere near this game. Like, you can probably have them play the first game. It's a very storybook, kind of like fantasy, very lighthearted. Whereas this game is like gritty. Like, the prince is like, he's got 2 swords. He's just lobbing people's heads off. It's ridiculous. I don't know why they made it so dark, but
I just think we should put on this episode a counter for the number of times you say the word gritty. I think you've at least used the word gritty like 8 different times this episode.
See? That's what this game's doing to me, Robbie. It's just making me use the word gritty all the time, you know?
Yeah. Gritty.
But, you know, and one of the things I will say too, they did actually improve the combat a bit too. You can actually pick up weapons on the way, and you can. And I did like that aspect. And weapons actually do break after a while. So it does kind of like, they did have this kind of more realistic
Kyle, you
edge.
gotta stop breaking your weapons.
I know, right? Seriously. But, yeah, I think it's a great game. Is it an improvement over the first game? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. But I still think it's a great game. I think you guys should play it. Warrior Within, do it. So that's all I got.
Cool. Well, sounds like a very gritty game.
What? Who said gritty? Definitely not Kyle.
Anyway, thank you, Kyle, for that lovely review, for those lovely reviews, as always. And thank you to all of you for tuning in to another episode of On a Couch Talking Sports from a car across from Boston College. Go Eagles. Like I said, thanks as always for joining us, everybody. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Socially distant. Wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Yeah, like Bane. Anyway, as always, he's Kyle. I'm Robbie. Signing off here for another gritty edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.
Rachel.
Oh, make it clap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snap. No, different song.
Okay, I'm glad you got my reference there. That was pretty good.
I know, right?